Hello. At this time of pandemic and lockdowns, and especially with our students all at college with great difficulties, my daughter has gone off to university accommodation for the first time. And like any mum, I wanted to send her with what she needed, which is food and lots of it, because you worry, don't you? Now, just to put it in perspective, she's in London, we're in North London, she can get home, she's got a Sainsbury's underneath her, but she's still a ballerina in training and she needs to be fed. So over lockdown, with all the troubles that were happening, I went onto YouTube and got some inspiration and then have expanded it somewhat. So I was quite interested in food over lockdown and made COVID food diaries, which has become my family Bible, and found lots of really good ideas about how to do things, especially when we couldn't get yeast, flour. It was really problematic, and going to the shops itself to involve full PPE. So it was extraordinary times and continues to be. So taking some ideas from YouTube, including, and a big shout out to Finding Aloha, which is a sailing blog, which is great. And she introduced me to my new favourite product, which is Old Bay seasoning. More of that later. So I just wanted to sort of mum to mum, parent to parent, say what we're going to be doing. So I sent her with Ziploc bags of food, and that's the idea. So you can send them with plenty, but if you put in the ingredients that they need for a meal, then they don't need to go anywhere, they don't need to worry about it. It's all in tins. And also I was inspired a long time ago when I went to see Delia Smith, and she did her cheat book, which is a well-used book. And in there she talks about meat in tins, which prior to that I had been incredibly snobbish about, to the point, obviously not. But she talks about having meat in tins and how good they are. So things like chicken in tins from Marks and Spencer's. So that's a really good tip. So you get the protein in, that helps a lot. And what you do is you assemble a meal and you take the trouble out of it. So you put a bag of rice. Now generally this is supposed to be 1 cup of rice. You can see this is more than that. So the rule for my children is that they take whatever rice I've given them, put it into a receptacle, a mug, a glass, whatever, and whatever that is, they times it by 3 for water, and that's how you get the perfect rice. And don't stir it. So I'm no chef, but I am a family cook. So tin of chickpeas. This is chicken quesadilla, which is I checked yesterday, £2 from Morrisons. Has absolutely been a lifesaver throughout lockdown. It's got meat in it, it's quite spicy. With all these meals with students, you do need to know that they're stretching the meals so that they can feed other people, they may be in a bubble with others. A tin of tomatoes, stretch it out, and obviously they may not all be eating meat, they may be vegans. So, but in that meal, and then you put it all into one bag. Obviously this is not all in one bag. You have the completed set, and you can also put some seasoning in, so it works really well, and I highly recommend it. And sometimes it's almost like you're making fun of them, but you're not. So this is macaroni and cheese, and over lockdown, because we weren't going anywhere and we were having movie nights, we watched all the Marvel movies in sequence, which was great. They wanted mac and cheese and we weren't going anywhere, and they rather like the synthetic flavour of the American mac and cheese. So I found this, which is brilliant. Add it to my classic cheese sauce, which is obviously made from scratch with flour and butter, and it just is really good. Now if you're a student or you're not bothered to cook, you don't need to, you can just have mac and cheese in a bag. Obviously it just keeps on going. So really useful, simple stuff. We have a chicken curry. So I have bought these in the past, which are these sets. They're very good, but I find that they need a bit of extra added to them anyway. So I created up a bag, and in this bag you'll see I've got the ubiquitous rice. I also add in ½ a cup of lentils, which helps and just adds protein, and cook it up, and they don't know they've actually got a little bit more food in there. Little bag of tikka masala sauce, so she's not having to think. And tin potatoes. Now tin potatoes are a godsend. Obviously you can always buy the fresh, but tin potatoes, sorry, if you slice them up, make a Spanish omelette. If you use them in a curry or something, instant. You haven't had to have another pan going. And they always need vegetables. Now they can either put them in the curry or they could have them as a side dish. I don't really care. They can experiment, and little Christmas labels just to sort of remind her that her mum has been thinking about her, and a sauce. I find these sauces quite cloying, so they need extra bits. Obviously, all of these ingredients can be added to, but there you have, in one bag, you have a curry, which with rice and with everything, and the rice and the chicken masala, and there she is ready, good to go, which is all that we're interested about. We have another fajita set here, which is the ubiquitous chicken quesadillas, some chickpeas and some passatas. Obviously, once the fajita kits, the formal kits, are run out, all she has to do is add a packet of tortillas, which you can just get and keep in the freezer. Now, this is something that has been a revelation to me. These are easy onions, 80 pence. You can buy an onion, you can chop it up, you can buy frozen onions, which are great. This is even better, these are pre-cooked. So just absolute basis of so many instant meals from a tin. Instant, don't have to go shopping, don't have to worry. Long struggle life, that's the word I was looking for. And there you have another meal, which will stretch. That's the important thing. These are students, they don't have any money, or they keep telling us. And what have I got in here? This is a rice base. So I tried to sort of mix up pasta base, rice. I also sent her with some couscous, and we sort of just go creating. This is you can see the theme now, it's very simple. You just pull out what you've got. This is a Chinese theme, and in here I've got soya sauce, Chinese noodles. I've got some meat in a tin. Not great, but you can have organic any other time. And she can make a stir fry. She could add some bits of vegetables. Job done. And this one is rice and chickpeas and more of the same. And I also decided that it wasn't all about rice and pasta. She could actually, if she got inventive, she could actually make a pie. Over lockdown, with everything going absolutely crazy, I discovered these pre-packed kits, which I would never have gone anywhere near. So this one is the Aunt Bessie pastry mix, which is great. I have to tell you, I've tried some of them, they were awful. This one is good. Don't try the crumble ones. Oof, just make it yourself. This was really good. And she could make a pie. So in here, she's got a tin of sweet corn. She's got a tin of Prince's chicken in white wine sauce, £1.90. I did check. The all-important easy onions, a little bit of extra seasoning so she can flavour it up. And you see these are everywhere, these chicken tonight's white sauces things. Just glob it in, and extra, because obviously she's making a pie. So you can really feel that whoever she's cooking for, she can actually have made them a pie, which at the end of the day is such a satisfying thing to do, isn't it? I think so. And the theme continues, and this one is based on potatoes. So it's the same chicken and white wine sauce based on potatoes. And the other thing that I've got another macaroni cheese, but in here I've added a grated cheese. And what I've discovered over lockdown with the bag system is that my own children will now reach for it. I have a bag which has got pasta and pesto in it, which is obviously completely cheating. They could go and get the pasta and go and get the pesto, but somehow just bringing it together helps enormously. The other thing I sent her to college with is cake mix boxes. Now these have been fantastic. Couldn't get so much stuff, but this is cake, and it's something very satisfying cake. But if you add an extra egg and you use milk instead of water, and butter, unsalted butter, instead of oil, you have a lovely cake that is fairly, I'm going to say, Emma-proof, and it works really well. And then you add all your bits. So for this, you would add extra cocoa powder because it's chocolate cake. If you had carrot cake, you could add a bit of grated carrot. You could do whatever you wanted, but these are great. So I sent her with some of the paper molds, and it's been fantastic. Oh, here's my pasta and pesto with extra bits of pesto because they just go through it. The other thing that I learned over lockdown was freezing eggs. That's why I've got these here as a memory. I never thought that you could freeze eggs, and certainly with all the food shortages and just making sure that you've got enough food in to look after everybody, freezing eggs and then you just pop them in the freezer. They will have access to a freezer, these students. Then you can take the frozen eggs, whilst you're waiting for your butter to defrost in the microwave, I presume. You can use that for these as well, and obviously scrambled egg. So brilliant idea, and you just pop the egg out and keep them in the freezer. I also have sent her with some custard so that she can have some pudding and some tinned fruits. So it's tinned food, but in the doing so, I found it really helpful to know. And certainly if you send someone to college and you've sent them with 14 days of food, which you know you can stretch or last longer. Other ideas, you could do a taco bowl, which would be tins of tomatoes, the all-important rice and lentils, the all-important Old Bay seasoning, which I found in the UK now, but originally I got it in from abroad because I thought it's just been so good. And you can see how much I've used. And I've already given one bottle away, it was so good. Chili, you can do chili with tinned beans. I've done one with red salmon and coconut milk in a tin. So you can see that, you know, even for me, after a busy day, you come in and you just sort out the meal. It's done. And when we went away over the summer in Devon, in a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, took my prepping bags. So these are my meals in a bag. It's not new, but it's certainly new to me, and it's been incredibly helpful. And I hope that, like me, when you've been watching YouTubes and you found a useful idea, that this has been useful to you. And I wish all of us well as we go through these winter months, which has been trying for everybody. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Thank you.